to have Jon Tattersall from Fusion ATL back on with us. Jon, thanks so much for joining.
Welcome. Thank you both.
Absolutely. Been keeping up with you on Instagram. It looks like you've been quite the jet setter over the past few weeks.
Yeah, Delta love me again. I love Delta. They've been upgrading, so it's great. So off to Seattle in the morning. So.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it should be good. Nice and English weather out there.
Oh, yeah.
Low clouds, mid-50s, rain. Beautiful. Great for the complexion.
Well, exactly. Well, it's not, I guess you're going to be leaving some potentially rainy weather in Georgia, heading for some rain in Seattle, which everybody is well aware that Masters Week is upon us, and we'll be teeing off in the morning. So I was taking a look, just kind of some updates and things. So I think we've hit a record number this year for first-time participants at 26.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You did more studying than I have then, so well done.
Yeah, and so I guess the interesting thing about that is, there hasn't been a back-to-back winner, I guess, since Tiger Woods, 0102 maybe?
That could be correct.
I believe.
Mickelson didn't go back-to-back, did he? He was like 2 or 3 years apart.
Yeah. I
so
think
that, 0102 would have been the Tiger Jam then, wouldn't it? Or the Tiger
Yeah, because I think the not funny thing, but the unusual thing for Phil, being the betting guy that he is, I think he won 6, 8, and 10. So he likes those even numbered years, which 2020 even number year. I mean, I don't know, maybe. So what's been going on in Jon Tattersall's world, man?
Just been busy, thankfully. Having some fun clients to work with. A lot of the great thing about living in Atlanta, you get to work with a lot of different athletes. So a couple of basketball guys I've been working with, and that's always fun. You get to see exactly how good you are as a coach when you're dealing with a superb athlete. So it's
right.
Good news, bad news. But that's been a lot of fun. And then the hard thing has been a lot of the PGA Tour is kind of not going anywhere at the moment. So they're all in a 2-year window. Same with the Corn Ferry. So there's no Q School this fall. So the competitive players getting out of college have basically got nowhere to go at the moment. So there's this logjam for a lot of players of not having anywhere to go practice their skills. Sure. So it's been kind of very much a holding pattern for these younger players that really want to get on with it. So it's how do you train people well that are trying to compete, and yet they got nowhere to compete. So if anybody has the answer on that, write it down on a postcard and please, because it's tough to, they're motivated. It's just like, why the hell am I practicing so hard when I got nowhere to play?
And I can't.
It's tough for a lot of kids to find spots right now.
Yeah. What kind of setback? I mean, I don't know that it's measurable, but I mean, if you could maybe frame it up. I mean, what's that setback look like for a player that where you don't have that that competitive outlet, right? So it really is just practices at this point. I mean, are you losing some mojo in that, and as far as kind of that fire and I want to go compete?
Yeah, I think it's financial for a lot of them. So if you've got, we're not going to see the ripples of this for a while. I think if you've got resources, you're okay. If you've made enough money playing golf, or you have some wealth from some other area, you're okay. But if you're someone who's depending on making money playing golf, trying to get somewhere, very, very difficult, because a lot of the, if you look at like Monday Q and you follow that online, some of the scores that are being shot to play in these qualifiers are crazy, because you have this glut of college players that are not playing college events. They're trying it out. You got so many tour players, or so many college players that would have gotten on the Corn Ferry that couldn't get on. So now they're trying to qualify as well. So it's going to really prematurely end the career of a lot of players, unfortunately, just because there aren't as many playing opportunities out there. And if you're chasing a dream and you don't have the resources to keep chasing that dream, real life kicks in at some point. So it's not to be a Debbie Downer, but that's just the reality.
Yeah, just reality, right? I mean,
these kids are the ultimate entrepreneurs. I mean, they're literally playing for their own cash in a lot of ways.
Right.
So, as a friend of mine said years ago, get better or bring more money.
Nice.
Noted. What about for like sponsorships and things along those lines? I mean, are you seeing sponsorships taking a setback for this? I mean, just because of those kind of various reasons that you said?
Yeah, I think also the companies have been pretty smart in they won't say this, but I think it's what happened. They've acted like they've got no money, so they've cut back on a lot of things that they maybe wouldn't have done before. So they've used this excuse to trim some of the fat, if you will.
Sure.
And they're, as always, it's always very, very top heavy. They're always going to where they're going to get the most views. Like a number of the kids I coach have done very well on Instagram over the past few years with, getting some sponsorship dollars through that. But everybody's looking at like, what's my return on the money I'm giving you? So that's changed as well. So it's hard to put money into sports when you're actually laying people off in the business.
Right.
One of the things that they're all trying to justify as well. So thankfully, a lot of companies are hanging in there, and a lot of companies are supporting the PGA Tour still. They can use, that's a 501(c), I guess is the correct term.
Yep.
So it's charitable dollars, but when it's hard cash for sponsorship of players or sponsorship of mini tour players and things like that, and a lot of these kids do like a shares in a business. They'll sell shares in themselves with the idea that you make money, you're going to get money back. That's getting tougher to do as well, just because there's so many good players out there playing for so few opportunities. So it's competitive, but it's the ultimate competitive environment. And that's you either jump in the kitchen and get on with it, or you get out. I mean, it isn't going to change, and the age group is coming down quite dramatically. So it's like one of the things about stress. It ain't going away. You better learn how to handle it, or you're not going to survive. So here's the parameters, play well, and this is how we need to get better and get on with it.
Yeah, sure. So I noticed you were sipping on something today. What's the drink of choice for Tattersall?
I cannot drink bourbon, but this is Johnny Walker Black. So I guess bourbon is involved in making whiskey. I didn't realize that whiskey is a clear liquid when it's made, and it's the bourbon barrels that make it this color. So
I mean, it's like any whiskey that you're drinking before it goes into, as it's going into the barrel, it's clear as the water coming out of your faucet. Absolutely. And then the years of maturation of kind of pushing and in and out of that barrel, right? And then it's kind of, if you're looking at age stuff, right? I mean, that's the reason you get kind of the deeper, darker colors and notes and such. So yeah, it's an interesting thing.
They burn the barrels as well. Is that part of the building of the barrel, or they actually burn the barrel to do it?
Yeah, so they char the barrel, and then you'll look at different distilleries. They've got, I'll say, some flagships. So there's charring numbers, right? So it may be char 3, char 4, char 5, and obviously the higher the number, the darker the char. And then one neat thing that they're doing, and who's doing it? I think it's Elijah Craig. I always get it confused, but they're doing a toasted barrel now. So they char the barrel, and then they hit it again with a secondary flame, and it toasts the barrel. So, as you might imagine, it gets you kind of that toastier. So if you're a Scotch guy, that might kind of be down your alley, right? It's going to give you that more smoky kind of flavors from a Scotch standpoint. So
I just know I enjoy it, but I've got no clue. One of my friends years ago was a great wine aficionado. And so we'd get drunk together and he'd tell me all about the wine. Couldn't remember a damn thing the next morning. That sounds really great, Cal. I won't remember any of that, but that was awesome. Thank you.
It was, it was good while it lasted. So nobody wants to watch us just sit here and stare at each other.
No, it's still in there somewhere. I just want me to pull it out.
Yeah, noted. I'm a fan of Johnny Walker. I like and you're drinking the what I prefer is Black Label. So good stuff.
We're still friends. That's good. Okay.
Yep. Let's see. So let's head to Augusta, man. What are you thinking about the course? So obviously we're playing this 6 or so months later than we would typically play it. It has been unseasonably warm in Georgia this week. We did get a little rain in Atlanta today, and I think we're going to get through the weekend. I think the storms that are hitting Florida are going to kind of push up. So I think in a previous show we were talking about, obviously, the DeChambeau show, right?
Mhm.
And that's kind of on everybody's mind, right? Is he
this one? Yes,
right?
exactly.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Is Bryson going to overpower or break the Augusta code?
Mhm.
And so with just the conditions, and then I think they overseeded with some ryegrass for the
Every
fair.
year.
Yeah.
Every
And
year.
then,
So
so it's going to, it might,
I mean, there's rumors as to what they're actually doing. And they have some different procedures, but they probably put down more ryegrass per square yard than any other course in the world, basically.
really?
There was some video of some birds on the grass yesterday, which never happens because the birds are migrating south, I guess.
Right.
But they're eating all the seed, basically. I'm sure it's like they just got fat and can't fly south now. Probably. So I think they probably put the ryegrass down in September. So you need warmth for that. The Bermuda is still probably hasn't fully died out. So you're going to see some Bermuda. We won't see it on the cameras, but the players will be able to see the Bermuda still visible.
Sure.
And the downside to it being this time of year is to get ryegrass to grow, you need heat and water. So they have to put a lot of water down from the time they inject it or spread it to now. So I don't think we've had a lot of rain recently, but they would have been putting a lot of water down on the ground.
Yeah.
So it looks very, very green. To do that, you have to have a lot of moisture and you have to have a lot of water there. And I know they have sub-air under the greens. I don't think they have it all over the golf course. I mean, I've been there when you can hear the sub-air running, and it's like a huge vacuum, basically.
Yep.
And it's just on the greens as far as I know. Do they have the money to do it ever? Absolutely. But they'd have to tear everything up to do it. I don't think they've done that.
Yeah, that's quite an undertaking. Yeah, I think you're correct on that. I think it is just the greens that they're managing from, with the sub-air system, which and we know the greens, right? I mean, they can do whatever they want to do with the greens. They want them to be fast, they'll make them fast. They want them to be slow and hold, and then they can do that. But I guess from are the conditions that we're going to see tomorrow morning and through the weekend, is that putting Bryson now at parity with other players, given that everybody's going to be challenged?
Well, I think the thing is, like at Winged Foot, hitting it a long way was more an advantage because of the rough. So there's minimal rough at Augusta. There's enough rough that if you're coming out of the rough, your ball control into the green isn't as good, but it's not that you can't get to the green. Whereas at Winged Foot, if you're in the rough after a decent drive, you just couldn't physically get it far enough down there. Yeah. Whereas he was a little further than, like, he wasn't the longest at Winged Foot, which is kind of crazy. But he had so much strength that he could muscle it from where he was onto the green, close to the green. That's not such a big advantage at Augusta. So the advantage he has there, obviously, is number 3. I believe he drove it the other day with a 3-wood. There are a number of players that could probably hit it on if the wind's right with the driver. So whether you get on with the driver or 3-wood, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
His real advantage comes on the par 5s, where he's now playing basically a par 68 course. Or if you include 3 as a par 4, he's probably playing a par 67 course. Because, he can knock it on par 5s and drive a par 4. But they can put the pins in situations. You could hit all 18 greens there and shoot 18 over, basically.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and still walk away with some 3 putts for sure, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, so distance obviously is an advantage wherever you play, but the fact there isn't rough is gonna not have as much an advantage as he did at Winged Foot.
So
and he's incredibly straight at Winged Foot too. That's the other thing that annoys me as a coach is people are talking about, well, he just hit in the rough. Well, he was hitting it so freaking far,
right? And
the holes were doing this, and he was still not far off the fairway. So it's just noise. They just don't, they're saying silly things that, like, he's just bombing and gouging. No, he's hitting it amazingly straight.
Yeah, and I mean, he's not lost any accuracy of any notable. I mean, it's long, to your point, long and straight. It's like, well, that sounds like a hell of a recipe to me.
That would work. I mean, if I could bottle that, I wouldn't be flying Delta tomorrow morning.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So who's who? I know we're going to. You pulled some pairings for us. I don't want to get. I don't want to get straight into that yet.
No problem. The Masters aren't as much fun as the U.S. Open, though. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I know. I was taking a look, and I'm like going, okay, what's he gonna pull out of this? Because
I was falling asleep looking at it.
You had to put your creative hat on, I'm sure. So let's talk about fans for a second. And you mentioned
Patron.
Excuse me. Yes, at Augusta, it's patrons. That's correct.
This could get shut down real fast.
Yeah, if I say fans, yeah. So let's talk about the patrons at Augusta. So you just mentioned it, and for those folks that are watching and listening, if you haven't been to Augusta, Jon just said it. There's not a lot of rough there. I mean, really, any rough that you run into, it's kind of it's azaleas, it's trees. It's like you're probably not going to play your ball if you're in the rough. However, what you do have in the tree lined areas, you got a lot of pine straw. And when the patrons are there, I don't want to say that you've got guardrails, but you kind of have some guardrails that are going to change maybe the conditions there, right?
A little bit, and it's I mean, I'm humble brag, but I've been fortunate to play there a number of times, and it's so weird playing there when there's nobody there, because when you're looking on TV, the patrons actually outline the holes. A lot of times when you stand up on the first tee and you look down, it's the area you're looking at between 9 and 18 and what will be 8 used to be the practice area. So it's just a big open space. And so a lot of those holes, you really don't get the definition of where the hole's going just from the trees alone. Like the trees are clipped up to quite a high area, and they're not following the holes all the time. So the patrons kind of frame it, and obviously they won't be doing that this time. And like you said, a wayward shot is just going to continue to be wayward because there's nobody standing in the way. I mean, even if the patrons try and move, if I was playing out there in the Masters, it would be no different because nobody would be watching me. But if you're a Tiger, I mean, this happens a lot with players at tour events. There are players that have used the fans as backstops because they know from where they are in the rough, they cannot get the ball to stop on the green, and they are clubbing past the green or landing it in the back edge of the green, knowing it isn't going to go too far.
Sure.
Because they just can't get out of the way. And the same with grandstands. So you won't have this time. So the ball, if it misses the green, it's just going to keep on going. And a lot of those greens, you'll probably get a better idea this year watching as to how undulating they are, particularly off the edges. 9's an obvious one because it comes back into the fairway.
Right.
But 17, for instance, if it goes over the back of that green, there's nothing stopping it before it gets to 18T. It just keeps on kind of running away from you. So there's a number of holes like that where they're very much elevated around the greens. And it's deceptive too, because the first time I played there, the greens look fairly big on TV. They're not that big. They really aren't. It just shows how good these players are. And so, that you're going to see probably, depending on how firm they get the greens, and then if you've got some moisture on the grass and the ryegrass is still coming in, there's some of the Bermuda's still there, you're going to get some blades between the face and the ball. If there's any moisture, we get some jumping. The ball control is going to be a bit more of an issue. So it's not that the rough is going to stop them in traditional sense. It's going to just make it difficult to get it to go the right distance. And you have to be, at their level, you have to be precise with your distance control at Augusta, given there's almost 3 or 4 greens within every green, basically.
Oh, wow.
Sure.
That's cool.
So what about there's the big hoopla, I think they're kind of building, of course they are, but they're building some storylines so that the Masters said they weren't going to allow the greens books.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and I, so for amateurs like Dan and myself, I mean, we don't ever use greens books when we're playing, a casual round of golf.
I never play without mine, Cal.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you think there's any impact? I mean, obviously I mentioned it earlier when we started the show that we've got 26, so a record number for first time players, being at 26. A couple other caveats. They changed the cut line, so it's going to be 50 in ties. It's not going to be 60 and then 10 strokes within 10 strokes of the lead. So that's going to already weed a lot of people out.
They're doing that from a time on the weekend scenario. Is that why they're doing it?
Yeah, just because of daylight. Yeah.
We're on 1 and 10T this time too, which is unusual as well.
Exactly. Yeah, lots of changes. Which again, I'm not complaining about that. I'm saying, hey, I'm glad that we're going to get to watch it. But so from the Greens book standpoint, I mean, is that a significant impact at the way they're building that storyline, or is it just something new that they can talk about?
A bit of both, honestly. I mean, some players use the green books, and players of my generation, they really don't. We had to figure that out. But I would imagine the green books were allowed in practice rounds.
Right.
You couldn't monitor that really. And if you're, years ago, before Tiger won the first Masters, I was doing some work then with the Golf Channel owners, and they said that he'd been down watching, before we had DVRs and everything, he'd been at the Golf Channel like all winter watching previous Masters.
Oh, really?
Watching where the putts broke from and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, you basically, when we go to a tournament with players, the good caddies and the players, we've got pin sheets from the previous years. So there's only so many pins they can use. And the caddies, the good caddies know that in their book, they've got where the wind was coming from, what the temperature was, what the humidity was, what yardage they hit this club from on this hole this day. And then every day they write it down from practice round to tournament rounds. So the caddies, a rookie caddy is talking to those other caddies. Sure. And a rookie player at that tournament obviously isn't a rookie. He's got friends he's going to go play with and alumni and all this kind of stuff. So they're not flying quite as blind as people would be led to believe. The green books, if you're a player who typically uses them and now it's gone away, could be a bit of an issue. But you're also at the most videoed or filmed tournament in the world where the pins are always going to be somewhat in the same position. So right. If you've got a lot of surprises coming at you down there, you really haven't done too much of it. There's information out there for you to figure it out.
So probably more of a head game than it is actually. It's like you're messing with my routine, so I've got to now adjust my routine and figure out a new way or different way to do it without that crutch or tool.
You got it right. I mean, and under stress, the thing that happens is that your brain just doesn't work as clearly. So would that information help that player? Possibly, but the fact the player can't look it up, he's under stress, and he starts freaking out, and he's like, this could look this way and this could look this way all of a sudden. Right. That kind of thing might affect them, but they'll find ways around it. I mean, if you're using aim point, you're feeling with your feet anyway. And honestly, sometimes some of the green books, I mean, I'm kind of in and out on them, quite honestly, because I think I see a lot of players that they figure out the break exactly and they hit it 3 feet by. Well, the break doesn't make any difference at 3 feet right. by. So it is a speed control issue. Everything putting is basically speed control, really. So if it helps with that, great. If it doesn't, you're getting stuck on the line, it's not going to help you that much. So it'd be interesting to see. It may completely backfire on them, and they may play better without green books because now they're actually having to trust the fact they're elite athletes.
Right.
When the USGA changed the groove rule a few years ago with wedges, they thought we got them now, and then they just found a different way. They're that good.
Yeah.
Like the criminals and the lawmakers, the criminals are a little bit ahead of the lawmakers.
Sure. So you've played Augusta. And obviously you're a fan of golf. Mm-hmm. So do you have what's your favorite hole to play?
I don't really have one, I wouldn't say. I think 13 is an amazing hole that I've never made birdie on. I was there with a client and friend of mine a few years ago. He made eagle on 13. So I hate him forever, but it's such an enticing hole. You think, the other high class problem playing Augusta is you've got this highlight reel going in your head.
Yeah.
Of every great shot you've seen the best players in the world ever hit at Augusta. So there's no way you can ever quite achieve what you've seen. So it's very hard to kind of go and play there and just play your game because you're thinking, oh shit, Jack Nicklaus did this. It's difficult. But 13 I think is one of my favorite holes to play because you stand on that tee like full of hope that you're going to make a great score on that hole because it's not overly long, but it can bite you if you try and take too much off. The trees are bigger now. Trying to get around that corner is difficult. 12 is an amazing hole. the first time I played there, the caddies are great. They're there all, they're just caddies there, and then they go somewhere else in the summertime.
Right.
I remember standing on 12T and said, what's the prevailing wind here? And the caddy had said, swirling. I was like, that's
well, that helps.
That's really helpful. Yeah. Thankfully, there's no tipping at Augusta. So,
right. So you didn't have to be the asshole that day. You could just be yourself.
No, I didn't have to. I could just be like, I can't tip you. But that hole is, I mean, one of the issues is when you're a patron, you're standing on the tee.
Right.
You get no concept of how narrow it is back there. And I've pasted off from the top of the bunker to the back edge. It's 9 paces. It's 27 feet. Yeah. Wow. So you think about that, you're hitting into a bank of trees. So the wind is literally, it's kind of coming. They say they always look at 11 green to see what the wind's doing. But then it's kind of going into that corner. So it kind of hits those trees and kind of swirls around back there. So you can hit a great shot and still look like an idiot on that hole.
Yeah. And I guess a lot of people there, I mean, and some people are trying to miss off the back of the green, right? Because I mean, if anything short, you're dead. I mean, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that front bunker is probably your best spot. Everybody bails out left because the green kind of sits at a bit of an angle going away from you. So if you're selecting enough club to get over the bunker, if you push it right, you're now literally in the water. Yeah. So they're always, if somebody hits it at the flag on the right on Sunday and they're anywhere near the lead, they missed it. There's no way they're going at that flag because there's just very little there. So the safe play is left quadrant of the green. The problem with that is you pull it a little bit, now you're in that bunker heading back towards the water. So it's an easy par 5, basically, is the best way to describe it.
So, Jon, we touched on this earlier in terms of like Bryson a little bit, but we talked about the rain. We also talked about this, I think, at the PGA at Harding Park. We're talking about how is it going to play differently, with the weather or whatnot. And with the rain, and with being in winter, but it's kind of warm, is it still the predominant second shot golf course, or are the longer hitters going to have an advantage this week, do you think?
I think they're going to have an advantage for sure, particularly if they dry the greens out. So I remember years ago, I went and did something I don't normally do. I went with family to go watch. Like normally I'm either there with a player coaching or I'm just there to see people. But I actually went as a fan or a patron a few years ago. And we went and sat on 15 green. And it was pretty dramatic when you saw the balls coming to 15. So nearly everybody was going for 15. And the guys that were sort of average to longish were hitting hybrids in and long irons. And the ball was kind of coming in at this angle. And then it's the year Mickelson won the last time, I think. And he was hitting like a middle iron in there. His ball came in like that.
Wow.
So he stopped it on the green. Everybody else was hitting it basically exactly the same place on the green. But because of the angle of attack landing, his ball stayed and everybody else ran out. And maybe they made 4, but they were kind of struggling for 4. He had a 2-putt for 4, basically. And so he and Tiger, their ball came in like that way. So that's where the longer hitters have an advantage because they can, you're going to hit it closer with a shorter club, generally speaking. But even if you're playing great with a middle iron and you're landing it like normal middle iron height, it's just not going to stay close to the hole, or it's not going to stay close to
or
where
it's going to run off the back. And I mean, off the back there, I mean, you're, trying to chip back up on that thing because I believe that green slopes back towards the tee box, right? So
yeah, correct. Yeah. I mean, most courses, they generally slope back to front. There are very few that the Redan hole at Shinnecock where it slopes front to back.
Right.
The vast majority of greens in the world slope toward the tee. So there's some they're capturing a little bit, and then so the player can at least stand a chance, I guess. You think about it. I mean, years ago they were designed to get water off the green. Now we have sub air, so it's not such a big deal. But yeah, so now if you go over a green, like you just said, you're below the level of the green, chipping up with the green going away from you. So driver distance, yes, from hitting a shorter iron, that definitely your proximity is going to be closer left and right. Just because it has more loft, you're not going to hit as wayward, but it's also the land angle is what's going to be huge. Right, so you'll see a lot of them out there now. Like Phil's walking around with a launch monitor. Bryson's probably got both launch monitors out there, and they're trying to see how far is it flying? and what's it landing at and all that good stuff.
Yeah, sure.
So they're, like I said, the caddies are figuring out like 70. So I looked, it's going to be mid 70s tomorrow. The humidity is this. We're at 800 feet, I think, in Augusta. That means the ball's going to go this far. That's how detailed it gets.
This is just from an observation. You're talking about Mickelson quite a bit, and Mickelson won the thing a ton of times. Bubba's won it a couple of times. What is it about the lefties that they love Augusta so much?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was talking to someone today about the shot that Bubba hit on 10 out of the wood.
Out of the trees, yeah.
Yeah, like I stood down there where he hit it from, and literally a righty couldn't hit that shot because you just cannot get, if you're hitting a hook, it's going to go further. So a righty trying to slice it that high, it wouldn't, you just can't get enough face on it to go that far. So that obviously was a huge advantage for him. I mean, the thing with Trevino, he never won at Augusta because he said it favored somebody who could draw the ball. So if you're a lefty, like 13, it's a big fade. So if you ask any tour player under pressure, do you want to hit a hook or a draw or a fade? They're going to go with fade 9 times out of 10. So a lefty at Augusta can hit a lot of fades, feel comfortable, hit a hard fade, and it's the ideal shot for 13. It's the ideal shot for 2, 5. Where else? 9, 10.
Wow.
And the two people that Dan just named, I mean, it's not like they're known for just blistering fairways either. So, I mean, and it's not a dig at them. I'm just saying, it's like, hey, hit the damn thing as far as you can, and I'll be able to find it. So,
yeah. And one of the things I tell kids about, if you watch Mickelson, and I got huge respect for him. He's one of my good friends. He's very good friends with him, and spends a lot of time with him. Actually, Phil and Dave's coffee. Dave is one of my good buddies. Dave.
Oh yeah.
But I forget where I was going with that. But Mickelson's unbelievable at like selective amnesia. Like he can hit the ball so far off the planet, and the next hole he stands up there and acts like he's never hit driver wrong before in his life.
He's smiling like, no, give me the driver.
Yeah, give me the driver. I'm just like, no, I don't want to give you a drive. Well, his brother now, Tim, has got that job. But yeah, it's like he just like just gone. He's like a damn goldfish. It's just that memory is just gone. So so for anybody out there, I'd say, if you can think like Mickelson on a golf course, apart from the fact he's over, like he is Bryson before Bryson was Bryson, basically.
Interesting.
He's looking at all these different ways to get better. But his ability to forget stuff is just outstanding, I think.
Yeah, it's an interesting statement you make about the Phil and Bryson, because Bryson was talking about he's going to put the 48-inch driver in the bag, because for the distance, et cetera. And the last I heard, he's actually opting not to do that because he said he didn't get adequate practice with it. But I'll bet your ass. Oh, Phil, he's like, hey, 47.5 inches here. I go. It's like, and like nobody had been talking about it. It wasn't really out anywhere. I mean, it was the Bryson show for sure. And, for some wild ass reason, Phil's like, it sounds like a good idea. I think I'll try it.
I know. Yeah. Roll with that.
Yeah. I mean, Hall of Famer. I've got my green jacket. It's like, it's let's have a go. So it'll be interesting to see how some of those guys play this year. Again, I don't know that weather-wise and all. I mean, it's going to impact everybody. I mean, it's not just particular individuals. I mean, everybody's going to get the same seed, if you will.
It's not like the Open where you've got like the tee time start at 7. I think they go to a little afternoon. So no matter when the weather, if it comes, it's supposed to come in overnight and maybe may have a delay in the morning. But they're not like they're going out from like 10 till 7 till 3 o'clock. Like you can literally at the Open Championship, you can play phenomenal and get the absolute wrong end of the draw, and you got no chance. But everybody's going to be playing in similar weather, it looks like, tomorrow.
Yeah, speaking of, so some of the other players, maybe some interesting notes, interesting to me at least. So Bones is on the bag again this week for Jimmy Walker. I thought, and Jimmy, he's been, I think Jimmy's been, I don't want to say struggling, but Jimmy looks like he might be working on some things.
Yeah.
So I thought that was an interesting poll and a good move, right? I mean, we've talked plenty about caddies and books, and I think Bones was on the bag for all three of Phil's wins. So I mean, you've definitely got to be feeling good walking to the first tee box with Bones on the bag, right?
Yeah, I mean, he obviously is a phenomenal caddy. He's been there, done that, and I think the thing that always impresses me, guys like him, he's has that air of confidence because he's been there and done it, but he doesn't kind of leave. He's still doing the work.
Sure.
So I think that's a great benefit. I would say that no matter how good you are, you need to know the player that you're with. So it can work both ways. It really can. I mean, if in a situation where you know how a player might react, like you can do practice rounds with anybody, but until you're under the gun, you don't quite know what answer they're truly looking for.
Right.
So that could go both ways, where Bones could say, Jimmy, you're losing your freaking mind. Let's just get back to, you're a great player. What the hell are you thinking? You just don't know how, you don't, in that circumstance, when a player starts freaking out, like, what do they need to hear? Do they need to hear, you're a dumbass, shut up and you're great? Or do they need to hear, oh my God, what do you need? Like, what can I get for you?
Right.
So
and it's unique to the player, right? I mean, there's no magic bullet, right? I mean, it's like you, and probably at the moment too, right?
Yeah. Bones doesn't have that solution. That's a learned scenario, and as a good caddy, as a coach, I think you what I'm trying to always get better at is like my understanding of how the player's reacting. If I can understand where they are right there at that moment in time, I can give them the information may not change, but the way I convey it might change.
Yeah.
So that's what the caddy does.
Yeah. So you bring up the coaching aspect and I mean, that's, that's your gig, right? I mean, that's who you are and what you do. So if you're taking, if you're taking one of your players to the Masters this year and you're showing up in November, obviously if we're working on shit like this week, like we're way too late, but are you, as the coach, are you managing, and you may have answered it with the caddy story, or the caddy delivery, but are you changing the way you're talking to and managing your player? It's still at Augusta. It's the same golf course, but it's different, right? I mean, there's no doubt that it's going to be in the back of your mind that, well, this isn't the first week in April, right? So how do you manage that? I mean, is there anything there?
I think there's a lot of stuff you're doing anyway. You're trying to go there and figure out how the guy's hitting it, how he's feeling, and you're trying to do your research on the course because, the thing about, I don't know if it's changed this week, but you cannot go on the course with the player. So we have to stay outside the ropes. Now it may have changed this week. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you have to be either a caddy. So a number of the coaches in the past have actually caddied for players during the practice rounds.
Gotcha.
The only way we can walk with the player during the round. We're outside the ropes with the patrons. So we're trying to figure out, we can see, but we can't see exactly what the lie was like and all that kind of stuff.
No, you're a regular schlub like the rest of us, eh?
I feel so bad for you. It's terrible back there. And but it makes it difficult to do our job. And one of my friends is a member at Augusta, and I was complaining to him once about how it's not an easy place to coach. Like we're a number of times I've been there, I've been with another coach coaching the player. And we can either have a caddy and a coach on the range or two coaches. You can't have the caddy, both coaches, and the player.
Really?
Yeah, so we have to kind of stand off in the caddy area and be summoned. It's a little, I got to be careful what I say, but yeah, it's a little...
Ring the bell?
Almost, yeah, like sending the...
So
class citizen down there, but it's so I was explaining this to the member, and he's like, "Oh, I'll be sure to mention it to the chairman." I was like, "No, don't."
Hey, that's Tattersall, T-A-T. So is that unique to Augusta though?
Yes.
And is that just I don't know what like just the nostalgia of Augusta? I mean, is it?
Yeah, I think they want the it's a television event. It's a great event for the patrons to be there, but they don't want the whole circus that goes on a normal tour event. But you're on the range as a fan looking out on the range, and there's, it's hurry up and wait is our life. So you go to the tournament, the player says he'll be there at 7:30. Well, that's from 7:15 to 8:15. So we're standing around, the club reps are there, you're standing talking to them, you know, it's like just playing grab ass. You're just standing around waiting. So now you got club reps, golf bags, caddies, coaches, and you're standing back there. If you're a fan, you can't see anything. So us are like, no, we're not doing that. You know, there's a caddy out there, there's a coach, and there's a player. And so the presentation it's awesome. It's great from a, you know, I think like Bobby Jones, there's some famous quotes about what he said about what kind of experience Augusta has got to be. And it's still true to that. When you go down the fairway at a normal tour event, there's so many people inside the ropes. Right. There's the radio, there's the TV, there's during practice rounds, there's coaches, caddies, club reps. You know, it's just like there's, with some of the lesser names, there's more people inside the ropes than there are outside of the ropes.
Sure.
So I understand why they just don't want that. And my stock answer for Augusta is because they can.
Yeah,
it's Augusta. Yeah, you know, and it's one of those things. If you know, if you haven't, even if you don't like golf, I would say if you don't like golf, okay, maybe that's not the right way to say it. But even if you're not just a, you know, over the top golf fan, I mean, the experience at the Masters I mean, it's, as they say, I don't know if I can say this, hopefully they don't get sued, but it is an experience like no other. I mean, there's World Series, Super Bowls, just start naming them. And there is nothing like walking in through those gates, and everybody that you see that has any Masters gear on that works there. I mean, everybody's super nice, overly nice, almost to the point that's like going, shit, this is weird. Is there something going on here? But yeah, it's, and then again, just the grounds itself is, you know, you could, I'm happy I don't even need players there. I'm happy just to go walk around the golf course. You know, just to look at everything that's happening.
It's an absolute sporting event, basically, and it's done, you know, to the level of, I think Billy Payne, when he became chairman, looked at it as this is like Wimbledon for golf, basically. Yeah. You don't have to be a tennis fan. You don't have to be a golf fan. You're going and seeing all that's great and good in a weird way, because it's not normal, but all that's great and good about golf. And you're seeing respect, you're seeing people behaving correctly, respect for the courts, respect for the players, and respect from the players back towards Augusta. So it's got all those wonderful traditions that make us love the game. And as they remind us as coaches, it is an invitational tournament. It's you know, and they remind the players, like, you know, this is not like you get in on your ranking. Yes, you do, but you're invited to play.
Right. So, yeah. Privileged to be there, you know, for sure.
Yeah. And what I love too, I mean, I've gotten to know the Augusta pros quite a bit, and I told people this, and I tell them that I've been fortunate to play there a number of times. So if there's any club in America where they could care less about you showing up during the week, like it's like you're going to go no matter what, and the guys there are so nice that they act like, you know, it's the, you know, they take care of you like this is just a great experience, a privilege to be here, and that's a club that could say, we don't give a shit if you show up. Like,
sure.
You know, and it's the exact opposite. So I've got huge respect for them, and the you know, the drive, chip, and putt stuff they've done to raise money. It's just great. I mean, they've taken a negative, I think, from where Augusta came from, and completely put it in a good spot. So, and I'm not getting paid by it.
Yet. Yeah, but it's early. And they probably haven't listened to this yet. So I'm just saying, there's always hope.
Yeah. They're listening now. Don't worry.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, man. So let's peel this thing back. I know you you got stuff to do tonight other than talk to us jokers. So
yeah. No sexy pairings. I didn't find any sexy pairings.
I looked through and I'm going like, okay, I don't know what he's going to find here. I don't know what he's going to find here. So what you got?
I'm struggling. I mean, I honestly actually went old school and tried to figure out who was going to win it, which is kind of.
Oh, we want to talk about that too, for sure.
You want to start there?
Well, yes, you can do. And the interesting thing is, like, the U.S. Amateur champion this year is not in the field that I could tell.
Right.
Wait a minute. I thought the guy, isn't the guy that's playing paired with Tiger?
No, that's Ogletree. So he won last year.
Oh, last year. Okay. Yeah.
Pairings for this year are as if this was April of 2020.
Yeah. That's right.
So,
Yeah.
so Woods is playing with Ogletree and Lowry, who was the Open champion.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he'll play in April. The one from
He'll play in April. So,
so same thing like Daniel Berger's not playing this year.
Right,
Even
yeah.
right, same thing. He'll play in April.
And Carlos Ortiz won last week. And
Yeah.
typically, if this was in April, he would have gotten into
Yeah.
Masters this week. So it's a little screwed up. So a lot of the guys that are in the field this year are in from April, and so they are not. It's always cyclical when you're playing well. So a lot of them that are in this year are actually from how they played in 19, which is a lifetime ago in professional golf. So
right. Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see how they actually perform when the gun goes off. Because Nick Lashley, is it? Or
Yep. Nate Lashley.
Nate Lashley. No disrespect to him, he's playing at Augusta, so he could win it. All more power to him. But I had to look at what the hell he's done to get in there. Mortgage last June.
Yeah.
So that, God bless him, and that's fantastic. But that's not on current form. Like, I haven't heard his name really since. So
I'd say he's been playing okay. I wouldn't say he's shooting lights out, but he's playing decent. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like it's very hard to go from like he went from like he was an alternate to get into that field, and then he won, which is fantastic. I mean, that's why we do what we do. That's why he's playing. But then the expectations go up of performance. Like, he hadn't dominated getting into that event, wins, and now he's like, oh shit, I got to play better now. So it's like managing expectations is a little tricky.
Yeah. So hold on before you jump into this. So I was reading an article, and I think his last name is Knox, but he's not a pro. He's a member at Augusta, and he's the dude that gets paired with so the Masters, and you see it at other tournaments where if there's an odd number, you might see an individual playing by themselves, but Augusta elects not to let anyone play by themselves. You always get paired. And is it Jeff Knox? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So it's but
there's a Twitter account of Jeff Knox, I think, that isn't Jeff Knox, obviously.
Okay. So but he's like he's played multiple rounds of golf. I think they said he played with Jason Day, I think Phil. Anyway, there was a list of played with Rory.
I think he beat Furyk. He's beaten a number of players.
Well, he beat Rory that day.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But they did say he never keeps score, but obviously somebody's counting.
Somebody counting.
So why is he the guy that gets to play?
I think he's probably one of the better golfers at Augusta. And
okay.
So clearly he's a member at Augusta. He lives in Augusta, and he's obviously, I mean, any Augusta member is going to behave themselves, but clearly he's a good enough player to be in that situation, and he knows it's not about him. Like, he's out there being the marker and staying out of the way, pretty much.
Gotcha.
Well, because when my membership goes through, when my membership goes through, that will be his last. That will be, well, not his last, but I'm definitely getting in on that.
He's going to be honorary starter or whatever before you. Yeah. So
exactly.
Your membership
Exactly.
I'm only coming in if you let me play as a marker.
That's right. That's right. Hey, if not, I don't give it to somebody else. I don't even want it.
Yeah. Don't worry, they will.
Oh boy,
they've heard. So you've been talking about me down there, John?
Oh yeah, of course he has.
He's like, absolutely not. I've never talked about you ever.
I want to be invited back.
Yeah, I talk about exactly what they want to talk about when I'm down there.
Yeah. All right. So did you come up with any pairings?
Nothing of interest, really, honestly. There were so what they've done is they like put a past champion in with different players.
Yeah.
And I couldn't quite understand. There's obviously the marquee ones. You've got John Rahm, DeChambeau, and then Oosthuizen, which was Louis is a phenomenal player. I wish I had Louis' swing, but you've got like two rocket ships that are kind of right at the pinnacle of what's going on, and then you've got a past champion with that group. I thought they might have put some other star power in there right now to try and
like a Scheffler, Cantlay. I mean, there's a lot of, and again, it's not, this is not meant to be negative. It's just kind of like, hey, that didn't really make sense. And here's the other thing. Look at Rahm and Bryson. And again, nobody on here is short compared to, the amateur out there, but you've got Bryson and Rahm that are probably going to be 50, 60 plus yards longer.
Louis, no, Bryson will definitely be 50 yards past Louis, but Louis will be out there with Rahm. Louis, he looks like he's playing smoothly, but he's pretty long.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's sneaky long. He's kind of like, he's got that kind of, I don't know how he does it. He looks like he's very smooth and cranks on it. So
Right.
you've got Patrick Reed, Casey, who, you know, don't spoil a pair, as they say, and then Tony Finau is one of the nicest guys in the world. So interesting pairing again.
The cooler.
We'll see how Kessler handles that. He'll I'm sure he'll keep them in line. So
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. And then Spieth, Woodland's hurt apparently. Hopefully not too bad, but he's had some niggling injury. I think he pulled out of the Hero. And then Jordan, who knows what's going to happen with him? I hope he plays well.
And you've got your fellow countryman on there,
Ian Poulter.
Yeah. I mean,
that's an interesting one. I've been around Poulter a decent amount. He has got one of the other best attitudes I've ever seen for golf. Like, he is fearless. Just and you know, just incredible. Like, he's all great players are a little bit and anybody great's a little bit devoid of reality, but he's tremendous. I mean, his attitude toward things is pretty damn good. Obviously, he busts his ass, but damn good. He's definitely overachieved with a lot of what he's done. But if there's a course that Spieth can do better on, I would imagine it would be Augusta, because you don't have to drive it. If you're a bit crooked, you're not going to get penalized as much off the tee. And if he's still hitting his irons well and putting decently, he could perform pretty well. But Spieth needs a good event, I think, not from just from, like, you can't keep on grinding with that much expectations on you.
Yeah. And just that nothing ever happens. It's like, you know, shit. It's like nothing ever goes my way right now. You know, it's like, it doesn't matter what, even if it's good, it's not that bad. It's still not good for him right now and where he's at. So, but I mean, 2-time Masters champion. What did he, you know, he had a rough day last year. I think it was Sunday, and number 12. And I think he put at least 2, maybe 3 in the water. So, you know, I don't know if that's, you know, can he, what's that?
Just once?
Nah, I think he put 2. Well, okay, maybe.
They should have won twice. See, because I was at Augusta when Danny Willett won. And we left on Sunday with 9 holes to go. Like, it's over. This is
sorry. Yeah, one win.
Who's going to win this week? Because I left that year on Sunday. We said, there's nothing to see here. Spieth's going to close it out. Danny Willett won. So well done, JT.
Yeah.
But Vegas doesn't call me. I don't understand.
So no Sergio this year. The COVID struck him. So
yeah. Negative COVID test. Obviously, Dustin Johnson. That's a good pairing. That is a good pairing, but it's just a good pairing to watch. I would say Johnson, Cantwell, and McIlroy. Rory obviously needs this one to make the Grand Slam. I think we're hoping April rolls around for Rory on this one, because I don't see him. He hasn't done anything recently that would indicate that he's going to.
There's no pop in anything that he's really doing. I mean, he's making cuts. He's not. I wouldn't say he's playing bad, but there's so many other folks that are just playing really good. Did we lose him? Is that me or you?
It's him.
Okay.
He'll be back. He'll be back. Just give him a second. Yeah, I'm looking at these pairings too, and I'm like, I'm with John. I'm like, these are not. There's no. So I think my favorite ones would be the John Rahm, DeChambeau, Louis. I like that one. I like the Adam Scott one. I saw it a minute ago. Where's it at? Adam Scott, Colin Morikawa, and Terrell Hatton.
That's going to be a fun one to watch for sure.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Let's see. Danny Willett, like I don't know where his game is. It is definitely
Bubba Watson, Matthew Wolff, and Tommy Fleetwood's that's another good one.
Yeah. All right, so he dropped off. Maybe hopefully he'll dial back in.
He'll dial back in. Yeah. So I don't know why they didn't stack some of these things a little better, but
here's a good one. You missed it. So JT, Fitzpatrick, and Koepka. That's a good one.
Where's that one at?
It's down the 1149 group 25. Hey, bud, we got you back.
Yeah, Comcast.
Yes.
No. Yeah, no, we're good. So we were just chatting about some of these other groups. So another group that we like is JT Fitzpatrick and fellow countryman and Koepka. That's a marquee group right there. I mean,
that's another good one. Fitzpatrick ran into a bit of heat when he made comments about DeChambeau doing what he's doing.
I didn't. What did he say? I didn't catch that.
There was something on Twitter where he made some comments about what he's doing is not that kind of, like it wasn't insinuating he was cheating, but kind of the way he's playing the game is not really kind of the way to play the game kind of thing. So
it's
I
golf.
understand I understand what he was trying to say. It just came out completely
Just came out the wrong way.
Yeah, and I was a little disappointed with Rory too after the US, and I think it was kind of about the scientific approach. And Rory's made some comments before about golf is more art than science, and obviously Bryson's using the arm lock putter and doing things like that. And Rory made some comments that were kind of like he's pushing the envelope on everything kind of thing to get an advantage, and.
It's competitive. Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Yeah, we're playing for a lot of money here. It's not
right. I mean,
this is not a hobby.
Yeah, it's not a friendly round of golf.
No, it's not show business. It's show business, not show friends. Is that?
Yeah.
As they say. So McIlroy was kind of whining a little bit, but to me as a coach, I was like, okay, if, like I Como's a friend of mine, but it's like they've looked at everything to try and get better. So if Rory, when he was phenomenal, and he still is phenomenal, if he'd have taken the same approach to figure out how do I become a better wedge player, how do I become a better putter, we wouldn't be talking about Bryson right now. Like he obviously worked very, very hard, but he wasn't willing, as most players aren't willing, to just throw away everything and say, what do I need to do to get better? Because we're talking about Bryson after he's won the US Open. He could have been he could be gone. He could be another Ian Baker Finch that tried to get better and is now holding a microphone. So it's like, I've got a lot of admiration for players that are willing to do that. So anyway, Fitzpatrick made some comments that were similar to that. Like he's doing things that are not
right. And it's almost like in some of those comments, it's not, they're not saying that he's cheating, but it's almost like you're losing you're losing the aspect of the gentleman's game.
Correct.
And it's like, well, hold on just a second. And I think this is like, this is so old school, right? And it's like, well, wait a minute. Yeah. 30 years ago, it was a gentleman's game and we're playing golf. Now it's athletes and we're showing up to a sporting event. And I think that's really where Bryson is today, is that he's showing up to a sporting event as an elite athlete. And then you've got some other folks that are making some comments that are, well, we don't want to lose the nostalgia of, hey, golf is this, little bubble and it's pristine and, you don't wear your hoodie and all that stuff. Right. But it's like, hey, I'm an athlete and I'm damn good. And if I can do something better than you can, and I'm working harder for it, well, what's to chastise? It's you can take the same route. You may not want to because it's a lot of hard work.
It's a lot,
but it's there and you can do it.
Yeah, I mean, years ago, like you said, 30 years ago, somebody says they're a good athlete, then we don't know what a good athlete is. Now we quantify. Now mentally, it's still debatable. That's hard to measure in a lot of ways, but we can quantify what a player has to do. I can tell you what a player needs to produce ball speed wise to get to PGA Tour. It's not a mystery anymore. So all these pieces are not some kind of mystery to figure out what to do. So I think he's taken all that information that's out there and gone, what do I need to do to get better? And he's done.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another good one. Bubba Watson, Matthew Wolff, and Tommy Fleetwood.
That's a good one.
That's a good pairing. Yeah.
Yeah. And Tommy, obviously he's hoping for a bit of rain and wind. That would help him greatly. He grew up in Northwest England where I grew up, so no need for sunblock there.
He's kind of struggling a little too, though, it looks like in his game. I mean, it may just be lack of play because he's kind of been over and, he hadn't been over here like playing consistently. I think he's been in Europe for most of the time. So
he was, and then he won overseas. Didn't he win overseas? Didn't he win in Portugal or something like that?
He may well have done. I know he's played pretty solid, but he hasn't. It doesn't look like he's been putting quite as well. He hasn't looked like the same player recently. He was close to the lead in Scotland, and then got beaten on the final day or lost in the playoff, I think. He just doesn't seem like he's like, for a while there, the players get on a run, and he was on a good run and in a good place. He's not quite where he was, but I don't know specifically what's changed. He's a great ball striker, so Augusta's a ball striker's golf course. You've got to have control of your golf ball to do well there. So he'd be one I would look at if he can putt well. I mean, that's a big part of it.
So run us through. You want to run through your top five? Who you liking for top five finish this week?
Yeah, I love Rahm. I spent time around him. Dave, my friend, is a coach of his. I know they do a lot of good work. I know he's been working a lot on his short game, and he's not afraid. That's a key part of it. And you need short game around there. Schauffele, is he going to step up? I mean, he's certainly doing all the things that he needs to do.
It's a matter of time. I don't know when it's going to be, but that dude is, I mean, he's playing so that there is so much consistency that's just exuding out of that dude. I mean, it's unbelievable.
He's really, really good. Matt Wolf. I don't know. This is a course I think he could do well on. The issue with Wolf is he's putted better recently. He wasn't putting better. He wasn't. So in full disclaimer, I'm not a fan of what he's doing with his swing. I think a lot of the stuff he's overstated with it. And I was kind of looking for him to not do well for a long time. And I kept looking at his stats, and he was hitting it phenomenal.
It's working. Yeah.
And he was not putting it very well. Whereas at the US Open, he putted it better. So if he putts it the way he has been doing, and he hits it the way he is, he could be a contender, obviously.
So is the putter going to win Augusta this year in 2020?
Well, generally speaking, what happens is the best ball strikers are always right there, and then the one that putts the best is the winner. So yes, the putter's going to win, but it's the putter that hits it the best. It's the idea of drive for show, putt for dough is complete fantasy land. You got to do both very well, and the ones that are hitting it great and have a good week on the greens, they win basically.
Yeah.
And on 12 at Augusta, the wind doesn't spin this way.
It's swirling.
It's swirling. No suit for you. Justin Thomas, obviously another great one, has all the tools, hits it far, hits it high, and is streaky with his putting. So if he's on, then yes. I mean, and again, he doesn't know. And one of the advantages of being, maybe he's 5'8". He doesn't know he's 5'8". He is like an absolute bulldog. And
I don't either, John. I don't either.
Yeah, good. There you go. That's an important thing. So, and the stealthy one, Cantwell.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah, he's actually coming back. So he won a month or two ago, and then he kind of had a little slump, but then he's turned it back on. Whatever he did, he got it back together.
Who knows? Maybe eating latte instead of cappuccinos at Starbucks. Who knows what the actual secret is? But he's a phenomenal player, great ball striker, and seems like he's got a very good demeanor that would survive in that environment.
So, John, this week, are we going to see Dustin, DJ, or Dusty on the course?
He played pretty good last week.
Second.
I think he's staying in a ranch-style house this week.
Do you have anything below sea level in Augusta?
Bubble wrap everywhere.
No basements.
No. Claude is over there making sure that there's ramps, there's ADA ramps on the.
That's right.
So let me drop this one on you. So you got DJ, Brooks, Xander, both T2 2019 behind Tiger Woods. 2018 Patrick Reed, Ricky Fowler was runner-up. 2017 Sergio Garcia was the winner. Justin Rose was runner-up. 2016, I'll stop there. Well, actually, I'm going to go one more. 2016, Danny Willett, Jordan Spieth, Lee Westwood runner-up. 2015, Jordan Spieth winner, Phil Mickelson, and Justin Rose runner-up. So we've got a lot of Justin Rose in the past 5 years. We've got a lot of Jordan Spieth in the last 5 years. Lee Westwood, we haven't seen a lot of him in the States as of COVID, but he does play Augusta well.
And he won recently. He won this year.
Yes, he did. Yeah. Is that your countryman gonna put one in the bag?
I'd love it. I mean, he should have won there a couple of times. There was I forget what year it was, but he played absolutely phenomenal and couldn't buy a putt. So
it was 2010 when he lost to Phil Mickelson.
Yeah, there was another year after that too where he was right there, and
that was 16 when Danny Willett won.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So, I don't. Who the hell knows? But I'd be really surprised if he got it over the hill at this point. But he is serious. I mean, he's working out hard. He's he's not just kind of doing a ceremonial lap. I mean, he's out there to win.
Yeah.
And he's certainly a good enough ball striker, beyond a good enough ball striker to win. And if any weather comes in tomorrow morning, you got some wind blowing around, that's perfect for the Europeans because they're used to trying to fight it down a bit, and they're not scared about that kind of stuff. So, I think he could be a good one and one that I'd love to see win. It would be awesome given the year we've had. And look, this is a golf tournament, so in the whole scheme of things, but we need sporting events to try and get everybody kind of like something to look forward to, don't we? So,
say it. I know where you're going. Tell me. Talk to me.
Although if we had it won't be Tiger, but it'd be wonderful if we had another great story that would make everybody go, you know what, the world's been shit this year, but this is really, really good. And, whether that's a former champion having one more lap, whether that's a player that's never won a major that finally wins a major, I don't know, but that would be pretty cool. But we've seen enough of the young kids doing better than they're supposed to. So I'm all for somebody overproducing, basically.
So are you, so if you're watching or listening, so he'll never give us a damn answer who's going to win. And so the expectation is set. I don't know, maybe he changes it. It is Masters week in November, which is odd to say, but so I guess the first question are we going to have a first time winner or are we going to have a repeat?
I like the chance of a first time winner.
I wouldn't disagree. I actually picked a first-time winner. I went with DJ. I think that guy's playing too good, and I think that it is. I think it was in the cards when 2 years ago he bailed, or was that last year?
Yeah, no, it was 2 years ago. I think when he was the number one player in the world, won the week before, phenomenal, and slipped down the stairs.
Hey, I don't have anything in my eye. I'm just saying. But I mean, yeah, okay, right. So, but I think that dude is hitting a stride. I mean, that shit that he did at East Lake was just like, and East Lake. I mean, if you look at it, it's not Augusta. And I've played East Lake several times. I've never played Augusta, but I've been to Augusta. And if I'm looking at the two, there's a little feel there that's very similar.
The way the greens are, yes, but the runoffs at Augusta are different. But the way the greens are elevated, yes.
Yeah.
And look, from my perspective, like you've said 9,000 times, I'm a coach. I was really impressed I think it finished on Monday, didn't it, at the Tour Championship?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
So Sunday night, Claude Harmon is out there with a DJ on the range, like Chris Como was on Saturday night. So like the idea that these guys just show up and tee it up and they're phenomenal, it's fantasy land. They're busting their ass. They're the best players in the world out there, and they're still grinding. So from my perspective, that's an awesome scenario because they're doing what we say they should do, and they're getting rewarded for it, which doesn't happen. There's only one winner. There's how many players this week, and some players have a great career and never win. So it's like
right.
It's so anybody that's willing to go that extra mile and actually get it done is love it. It's great.
So I didn't hear DJ out of that answer. I heard lots of positives about DJ, but I didn't hear DJ as a pick. You going to make a pick this week?
No.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I told you we're getting nothing out of this guy.
I don't blame him. There's a lot of competition
and listen,
here.
And he did not want to put his thumbs up right there.
No, I'm the best in my price range. So a crazy pick, I would say Cameron Champ. And one I'd like to think that he could win, and it'd be great to see him win with Jon Rahm.
Yeah.
Okay. What about mine? I got one. We haven't talked about him yet today. Is the X-Man, Xander.
Yeah, you mentioned Xander earlier.
I think Xander's I think Xander's a very good bet.
See,
he's long enough, and again, he's one of those kids that is. I wish I knew what it was. He's not scared, and he's won, and doesn't.
Yeah, he's afraid his dad's going to whip his ass if he gets home and he doesn't give it everything.
Fear is a good motivator. Fear is a good motivator. It works for a while, for sure. But yeah, he'd be one that I would pick as well. He's a very, very good ball. They're all good ball strikers, but he's a superlative ball striker, good putter, not scared. So I put him in the same. I put him in the Cantley category.
So we got some matchups here, Jon, and you're just going to tell us which way you're leaning. You don't have to say this guy is going to. We're going to see how you think. We'll all go here and see.
Yeah, good. My poker face is.
Get your poker face here. All right. So the first one is Bryson versus Rory, and Bryson is favored at -125 and Rory's +100. Who do you think? Who do you think? Do you think Bryson goes there? The second
Bryson.
one. So you both got Bryson. All right, Bryson. Mm-hmm. And the second one is.
Well, who are you picking?
I got Bryson as well. I got Bryson as well. Mm-hmm. Finau versus Matsuyama. Finau.
It's a killer. It's a killer. I mean, Matsuyama lit it up last week, but Tony does play really well at Augusta, even with a twisted ankle.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Finau too.
All right.
They were actually look at their ankle and put it back in by themselves.
I know, exactly. It's like, how sick was that?
Yeah.
Who are you taking, Dan?
I got Finau as well. So the broken ankle thing is kind of like in Lethal Weapon when he puts the shoulder back in. Yeah. And Cal, I'm noticing that plastic behind you looks like Lethal Weapon Part 2, or like you got somebody standing on that plastic behind you.
That's where I keep the bodies.
Cal. Yeah, Cal's got it behind.
That's where I keep the bodies. Yeah, you haven't noticed that? Like all my liquor's gone.
Wow.
So I had to cover up the. We got to get fingerprints. Figure out who stole it.
Wow.
All right, here's a fun one: Fitzpatrick or Kokrak. Fitzpatrick is favored.
I'd take Kokrak if he putts like he did at the Hero.
I guess you could just pick whoever John's picking for me, because I'm going Kokrak also.
I mean, he's long. Fitzpatrick's not short, but Kokrak's longer, and he just won. And if
he's playing good.
Oh, he's playing good.
Yeah,
he's underachieved for a long, long time. Like he's very good.
No, is this his first trip to Augusta? I don't know. So
he may have got in on because I think he's been to the Tour Championship before. So if you get in the Tour Championship, you get there. He's never won before. And so he got there this year on ranking, not on winning, because he just won just recently.
Right. Yeah.
It was probably top 30 last year or something like that.
All right. So Vegas is against you here, Jon, because you like Jon Rahm, and he's +100 versus Dustin at -125.
I'll still take Rahm on that one, I think.
Rahm.
I'm taking DJ. But by the way, Jason Kokrak, 35, earned his first Masters tournament invite by virtue of his qualifying for the 2019 Tour Championship.
All right, a couple more done.
I was just proving the point that you were right, Jon.
We set this up earlier. Thank you.
Kuchar versus Ricky Fowler. Ricky Fowler's favored.
Yeah.
Good Lord. I mean, that's an easy one.
I know Cooch, so I can't say Cooch. I can't go against Cooch, but I'm going to.
Oh, Fowler.
You're taking Fowler?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm taking Kuchar.
I took Kuchar. Interesting. Tiger versus Phil. Tiger's favored. Tiger. I want Tiger.
I got to take Tiger.
All right.
However, this could be. We may see neither of those guys on the weekend.
And strong possibility.
and it's not negative. We're not planting any seeds, but I mean, there are, especially that they moved this to 50 in ties.
Yeah.
There is a really strong possibility. And it goes to show that's how damn good these guys, the field is. I mean, this thing is absolutely loaded.
Well, I think the thing that's changed too is years ago there was huge respect for those guys and deference to them and all the rest of it. There's still huge respect.
But people want to beat them.
They want to beat him now. That whole aura of Tiger, they want to beat him, and they know that like I tip my cap. I'm glad we're playing for what we're playing each week, and I'm going to kick your ass, kind of thing.
And nobody's scared from the sense of like, oh my God, I'm paired with Tiger Woods. They're like, hey, great, I'm going to actually beat Tiger Woods, and I'm paired with him.
Well, I think we talked about this during the PGA, I think it was, but the fact there's no fans there makes a huge difference. Like when you're paired with Tiger, I've had several players I've coached that paired with Tiger. One of them played with him when he won the Players the last time. What people don't take into account is when Tiger's putted out, he is nice enough to stay on the green. The fans do not care. Like if you got a 4-footer and he's already put it out, they're gone. It's like a stampede. Yeah. And he's nice enough to stay on the green. Like if he didn't like you and he left the green, you'd have to wait for everybody to clear out because the noise that's associated being around him you can literally tell on the course where he is, where Phil is, and where John Taylor is typically.
Yeah. Hey, are you surprised that they didn't? I don't know. Dan, do you have any more? Or
I got a couple more, but go ahead. Keep going.
Well, so are you surprised? So the Houston and John, if you got to go, you can.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
So the Houston Open last week, they allowed like. Yeah, you're good, man. As long as she's happy with listening to us, and so
she listens to me every day. It's miserable. It used to be great for her. She's like, I love the way you speak. Now it's like, oh.
It's like, shit, he's talking again. So the Houston, they allowed whatever it was, like 5,000 fans a day or whatever, spectators. And I actually thought, I really did think that they might have tried something with the patrons at Augusta. Are you surprised that they didn't do something, or are you like, nah, there's no way it was going to happen?
I think there's no upside for them. So could they have done it? If anybody could have done it, they could have controlled it. But just, if something went wrong,
it's all downside.
There's no upside. Augusta, blah, blah, whatever. I mean, there's no upside for them.
Yeah.
So I'm just really happy they're playing the tournament, and if anybody's got a target on their back, they do. So they have to be extra careful, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there's going to be, all the members have to be there, so there's going to be people milling around, but they won't be acting like they're not going to hang out there and act like they're watching. They'll act like they're standing
working
and being very respectful, but they're
right,
watching, of course. Yeah.
Sure.
Interesting. All right, Reed versus Hatton, and
hat on or hat
on. It's a hat on. Okay.
Well, you're hat on right now. I'm hat off.
There you go. Okay.
Oh, I'm going to Reed for sure. I'm going to Reed.
Yeah. Table for one, please. There you go.
He's going Hatton?
No, I'm going Reed.
No, I asked John. Where's John? Who's
yeah, he's going Hatton.
Yeah, Hatton. Yeah. Adam Scott versus Louis O.
Good one.
It's a tough one.
That is a really good one.
It's like, how's Adam Scott going to putt this week? Because if Adam Scott was actually just give me like a smidge better putter, he's got a hell of a lot more victories under his belt.
Oh my God, not even close. Yeah.
Right.
And they're both great ball strikers. I could go either way with that.
And they're both champions.
They're both champions. Yeah. They're both.
I'm going with my man crush, Adam. I love you.
Okay.
You complete me.
TMI.
John.
All right.
I'm going Adam too.
Not because I love him like Cal does, but.
All right. Last one.
Who'd you pick?
I got Louis on that one. Webb versus Cantwell.
The best nickname on tour, I think.
What's that?
Louis Shrek.
Shrek? That's his nickname?
Not seen his two front teeth.
Yes. Hold on, did they actually call him that to his face?
Oh yeah. When he won the Open, they said, "Your name's Shrek. Why is it?" And he goes, "Really? Really?"
He's like, really? Oh, that's too good. That's too good. Nice. Hold on. Who'd you say was last?
Last one here. It's Webb Simpson versus Cantlay.
Oh, that's another good one.
It's another good one.
I'd go Cantlay because he hits it further.
Okay.
But Webb, I've known Webb since he's about 7 years old. Good kid. Gave him a lesson once. Didn't screw him up.
Nice.
He was 7 at the time, so I got no.
Yeah, I'm going Webb. Just for that damn story, I'm picking Webb.
Good for you. I'm going Cantlay.
I went Cantlay. That was fun. All right, we'll tell you how you did on Monday.
None of us took Morikawa.
No, I didn't take Morikawa. I didn't play him this week.
No, I don't know that he's a bad pick. But there's so much stuff out there. Like, I like Scotty Scheffler a lot this week. I mean, I'm thinking Scotty Scheffler's a top 5 man.
Gunslinger.
So again, first time there. I like Kokrak there. First time there. I mean, like, that's. I think it is. I think we're definitely.
Who else's first time? You've done all the studying on this.
Well, now you're really challenging me. I see what you've done here, John. I see what's happening. Well, hold on. Let's see.
Cameron Champ is a first timer, I think.
Probably. That sounds about right. Yeah.
What about Lucas Glover? I feel like he should have been there. He's been there a couple times. Yeah.
U.S. Open winner. He gets a 5-year.
Corey Connors. I don't think the Canadian.
Yeah.
No. He played. Well, okay. So this is a little different though. So Corey Connors played in 2015, but he was the amateur. So this is his first professional run there.
Got it.
CT
And the thing
Pan.
that, like once you're invited to Augusta, you can go and play practice rounds before the tournament.
Nice.
So a lot of these first timers, even though they're first timers, they've had a chance to practice. Now, the only downside for now is the course didn't open until mid-October, I think. So
Yeah.
normally you get an invite in whenever the fall, the course is already open. You go all the way to April to play. They haven't had a chance to do that this time.
That's a good point.
No.
Is that I mean, it's a little bit of a dumb question, but not dumb in a sense. So does that change the fact that I could or couldn't win the tournament? Because I mean, I'm still playing. Like, I mean, so we talked about Tiger, we talked about Phil, and it's like they actually may not make the cut this weekend, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just with everybody there and the way that the cut line's being adjusted.
Mhm.
So if I haven't had the chance to play it like I've needed or wanted to,
Mhm.
does that mean that maybe I'm Scotty Scheffler and I haven't had all the rounds that I want there?
Mhm.
Does that mean that am I out of it?
No, I don't think so. I think that can, again, go a couple of ways. If you haven't had a lot of experience there, you haven't seen the bad shots. You probably only see the good shots. And if you're playing well, some of the stuff that, like whenever you have a rookie caddy anywhere, like I'm not talking about professional caddy, but it's like a caddy, they're telling you where you shouldn't hit it.
Yeah.
Good caddies and good coaches are telling you where to hit it. So, in a situation like that, those players haven't seen the bad results from shots. So they may just be like completely, just go for it. Just hit the shot. It's 205 yards to the pin. Don't tell me where not to miss it. Tell me where to hit it. We go play it. So it could work like that. And the only time that gets derailed was, you hit it out of position and now you just run at the score because you don't know what the hell you're doing from that position.
Perfect.
A bit like Spieth is not in his category, but like nobody would have believed when he lost to Danny Willey, he was going to make a 7 on 12.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It just started going bad and it kept going bad. It was just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, exactly.
I really hope he gets that. I hope this is his his swan song and he just and I'm not even saying a win. I'm saying give me like a top 20.
Yeah.
And get that guy back on. I think he is so good for the game of golf.
He's great for golf,
I think he's a good dude. I'd like to watch him play. I mean, I enjoy seeing him and hear him. I really hope he has something magical.
He's a great dude. He takes it on the chin. We always thought he was baby Jesus because we couldn't figure out how we're scoring like he was, honestly. So he's exceeded what everybody that looks at this stuff thought he could do. And now he's kind of playing about where we thought he would do, but he's won 3 majors and God knows how many tournaments. So
yeah,
astounding, really.
Colin Morikawa. Sorry, I'm doing some research while you're talking. I think it's
that's
Colin's
his first time there. Okay,
yeah, that doesn't surprise me because he's only like a couple of years out of college.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he's a lot younger than us. Matt Wolf, I think.
First time.
Yeah.
He was in the NCAA's last in 19. He won the NCAA, so he wouldn't have been at Augusta.
You know who we didn't talk about that I want to touch on is and actually put him in we do a DraftKings show and I always on Mondays for these things. I think I have Jason Day. If I don't have him in my primary, I've got him in a secondary. And Jason's been playing good the past few weeks. I mean, as long as he doesn't get like whatever, what do you call when you're sick? As long as his hypochondria doesn't act up.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Jason Day's got a good chance.
Yeah, he's he's plenty long enough. Doesn't drive it straight. Really, he actually had if you look and listen to all his Scott Fawcett decade stuff, he had the widest spread left to right on tee shots.
Really?
Came to number 1 in the world. He was 75 yards from left to right misses.
Wow.
And he's still driving it crooked. So if you can do that anywhere, this is a course you can kind of do it on. You just hope he's not crooked at the wrong time.
Ooh, here's a name for you. Sanjay M.
Yeah.
First show at the Masters.
Yeah.
And when we were
doesn't have a house, lives in a hotel.
Well, exactly. But 2019 Tour Championship. I mean, that dude, I think he won Rookie of the Year in 2019. and couldn't have been like that. Dude is like, well, here's what Hideki Matsuyama wants to be, right? And I guess that it's Japan and South Korea, but nevertheless,
between them, probably. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, but he definitely exactly. They get along well.
Soon either, no, but that's okay.
But he like, where's Sanjay gone, man? I mean, he's really folded.
Yeah, a little bit. He was actually in Atlanta. Apparently, he's one of my friends and clients was out practicing at Sugarloaf, and he was over at Sugarloaf last week practicing, or the week before he went to Houston. So another one, Ben Ann, is a good one that I would look at as playing pretty good. It's interesting though. You look at all these, like the Masters is probably, no disrespect, it's the weakest field usually, because you have a long span of when you could have won. Like this year, it's even longer. You could have won 15, 16 months ago. Yeah. And you could, not sustain that, but you're in the field. So there's probably 25 guys that have got in with a chance of winning it. Because you got all the former winners in there, like Jose Maria Losmabal is still playing this year.
Sandy Lyle's showing up, man. Sandy's like, if my ass can get to Augusta, I'm playing, buddy.
Why wouldn't you?
Exactly. It's like, yeah, damn it, Tiger serving sushi again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's yeah. So it's I'm glad they're playing it. I'm on a plane tomorrow to Seattle. I hope that the plane has a satellite on it.
So you better have internet. Yeah, so you can, because we've got 7 a.m. tee times, which I would imagine those are going to be delayed.
I would imagine. I looked at the forecast. It looks like it's going to rain overnight. So
we could actually have a Monday finish on this thing. So if you haven't already taken off work, you may want to.
Nobody actually goes to work anymore, do they? They're all working.
Oh, it's true.
Hey, thanks for reminding me. I don't have to use that vacation day.
Now we got the Monday afternoon parlay on the Masters now.
Oh, a case of the Mondays. Mr. Tattersall.
I better shut it down because I'm getting.
You're getting the stink eye over there?
No, I never get the stink eye from Lindsay, but I'm getting the size are getting heavier, so I better.
Okay.
I better.
Oh yeah. No worries, bud. So
just refill. This is how great she is. Just refilled my drink.
Oh, look at you! Look at you. Well, so Jon Tattersall, it once again has been a pleasure. I know there's probably outlets that are dinging your phone and email off the hook
all the time.
But thank you so much for spending a few drams with us. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's a lot of fun. I don't know if we'll have another one. I think we may get fired back up, and we'll still have some. But I'm thinking, we'll
find a reason.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah, good point. So, and where can our listeners find you if they want to work out or get some coaching?
Yeah, Tattersall Golf.
Okay, perfect.
Tattersall Golf.
And look on golf.com. There's stuff on there, and Instagram Tattersall Golf. So I try and keep it educational and fun, but who knows?
I like it.
Yeah, good. All right.
So it's good. Jon, thanks so much, buddy.
Thank you both.
Yeah.
Go.
Have a good week, man.